let's look at if there's time after, if I have to go to DRA tonight.
Okay, I'm with you.
Do you know how a halfway house works and stuff? This is a little bit more flexible, but the same
Deb
idea.
did say that it's kind of up to me.
See, this place is nice. See this house up here with the white fence?
The destination is on your left.
Out to lunch? I hope not. I have faith in you. You worked hard to get to this step, and you've earned your right to get recovery. So, but it's basically going to be up to you. And I know that you can do it.
Well, that's why I like this, because you said it has the mental health aspect. It's not strictly recovery, so that's
Right.
what kind of intrigued me to the whole idea.
Right.
So that's good.
So you can address the recovery part and the mental health part. So all the bases are covered. Every single base is covered.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Ready?
ACCS stands for Adult Community Clinical Services. And even just in the title, it speaks to the fact that you're now integrating clinical services into a community setting, which is not something that's kind of necessarily been done in previous contracts with the Department of Mental Health. Our program has been able to bring clinical staff and direct care recovery staff together literally at the same table, at the same moment, working with clients at the same time, walking that path. And that is different than anywhere else.
What's up, bud?
Not much. Just trying to start the day, you know?
So you started Corner Club this week?
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Went good.
Now they're doing more vocational-based stuff, though, right?
Yes, vocational.
You guys just filled out a couple applications, though, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
So you filled out a few at a couple of, were they restaurants?
Yeah, but I mean, fast food, I want to do something I love.
You need to create the idea for people that there's something other than treatment, there's something other than mental health treatment. If you need to have a reason to wake up and friends to talk to and something to look forward to in your life. The idea is always that we're looking at what can people be doing in their lives to start to build those roots so that at some point in time they can move out of services and move away from paid supports into the supports that they've built for themselves in the community.
So what are your other goals? Obviously you want to return to work.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And you want to be a little bit more financially stable.
Well, I want to go prepared. I want to see if I can go to college. I want to go to mechanic school so I could work on any one of these cars.
You can look into what it takes to get a job like that. And kind of do the research and see what kind of schooling you might have to go to or what kind of skills you might need.
I don't know if it's a trade school I have to go through. It's the motivation though. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm a little bit lazy.
Well, that comes from you, man. You're the only one that can change that, right?
I know, but I had a little bit of struggles in my life with the work situation. It kind of messed with my self-esteem a little bit. So, or my confidence. I'm motivated, and if I'm doing something positive, I will love myself even more. Everybody wants to have something they're good at.
You want to grab a coffee?
Historically, there's been a real separation between what direct care staff are doing with people and what clinical individuals are doing with people. And we created the idea of this integrated team. So our team is made up of some of our clinicians, it's made up of staff that have specialties in family resources or staff that have specialties in benefits coordination. We have lots of recovery-based staff, lots of recovery coaches. And so we get this kind of dynamic group of people who are all really committed to looking at each individual case and figuring out what we can do to support people individually. We just had so many enthusiastic, creative, dedicated people who had so many kind of personal things that they were able to bring to this experience.
Oh, thank you, sir. Peer specialists are people who have worked in the field but also have some lived experience so they kind of understand some of the things that some of the individuals that we work with have gone through or they've dealt with it themselves, whether it be a mental illness or addiction or alcoholism. You know, we're there to help, you know, them see that there's another side, you know, you can come through. And so that's kind of our main focus. I have 3 pairs in each location, 3 in Taunton, 3 in Attleboro. So it could be anything from housing, new medical providers, food stamps, job searching, even taking them to food pantries or grocery shopping.
Generally in the morning, when people first start to come in, there's a lot of discussion about what happened during the evening. You're talking about calls that might have come into on-call or things that might have happened. And the integrated team supervisor is like the conductor of the orchestra. We joke that it's our OGs that are running the integrated team. We just have some really fantastic, dynamic staff and really kind of understand the process.
One of the things I really love about this agency and all is the teamwork. Everybody's really a team player. Everybody's kind of on the same page.
So he appeared in court last week to try and do a Section 35 involuntary commitment to a substance abuse treatment plan or treatment facility. That was denied by the judge. He's willing to go to a structured day program. However, when I met with him, he decided that he wasn't going to do any of that. So I voiced my concern, and so I've talked to Bree about possibly getting someone just to lay eyes on him, just so we know that he's safe.
Is anyone else familiar with his case? He's on my caseload.
There's so many different hands kind of touching the experience. So a clinician may be able to go out and meet with the person and do an assessment of self-harm or do an assessment of a person's risk that helps kind of gauge what our treatment approach is going to be. But what it also does is it allows for the direct care staff that's going to be there later that day, maybe taking somebody to a meeting or taking them to see a friend or taking them to a knitting class or something like that. It allows them to participate in that experience, so when they come back that night, they're kind of touching on what that person needs.
I talked to him yesterday. He reported that he finally saw the doctor at Dana-Farber.
Oh, good.
So I think they're going to have a treatment plan soon.
Good.
He's going to need support for like chemo and radiation and stuff though.
Did you sound a little more encouraged by getting closer to a plan?
A little, but he's still in a lot of pain, so it's still hard to like understand him when he's talking.
Yeah.
There is not a disconnect between what is happening in the client's lives and what the staff are working with. It's kind of a very, sometimes like an organic process where people will come in and they'll say, well, I just talked to so-and-so's roommate and they're doing this, and so maybe we could try this with them.
The best part of my job, I would have to say, is when I help somebody out who's in a really kind of a tough situation, and to see that you kind of made somewhat of a difference, so you might have helped that person. And then when you see them down the road and they bring it up and they bring up that day, you remember that day? Like that really does it for me. That's the big thing.
We've reached out to the person, we've done an assessment of their immediate needs. The conversation is, are you safe tonight? Is anybody hitting you or hurting you? Do you have something to eat? Do you have medications available to you? Are you sleeping in a place that has heat and electricity? Because if you've identified to us that any one of those areas of kind of safety are not there, then people are going to reach out and respond right away. It's very immediate, and that's really kind of one of the cornerstones of the program.
You have to have a big heart, you know, and you be a person that's willing to do what it takes to help people. And having a big heart helps. It's rewarding, you know, and I go home at the end of the day and I feel good. It's definitely a field that once you get into and you get your feet wet, you get hooked.
You really kind of have to be mindful of the steps that you take,
Constantly active.
where you go, what you do, who you do it with, because these types of settings are different. They're a little bit different than the other house that you lived at.
Yeah.
So, and meetings every day is important. So you have to get to a meeting. If you have a barrier, you need to get in touch with somebody, we can work it out. And reaching out for help. You talked about reading.
Yeah, I do.
I know that's great, but you gotta try to just think about getting out of yourself a little bit more. You're sort of like inside yourself, and you've been that way for a long time, and and it's not going to serve you in this type of setting. So if you're having a bad day, let people know you're having a bad day. If you're feeling good, let people know you're feeling good so that they can get a sense of how you are, so that they can see the problems before they come, because a lot of times we can't see our own problem. We can't see that we're like 5 minutes away from a relapse, but other people can see it just because they've been doing this for a long time or been in recovery themselves.
It might be a struggle for me, but I'm willing to try it because my way hasn't worked so far, so.
Right. Oh, that's amazing that you actually had that insight. Because you've been like, because you are so intelligent and you're so smart, you've been able to like, move and make all these different moves and sort of not really address what the real problem is. Because you do have mental health issues and you...
Well, that's why I like this, because you said it has the mental health aspect. It's not strictly recovery, so that's what kind of intrigued me to the whole idea.
I'm never gonna really let the case go, and I'm never gonna stop like cheering you on, and I'm never gonna stop like telling you the truth.
Right.
But you're in the right place. I'm glad you came and stuff. You guys want to see upstairs?
Sure.
All right.
Do it.
Let's do this. This is pretty clean now, I have to say. Like, I've been in a lot of recovery homes, and this is pretty...